So let's talk about the 3 beliefs your people need to have in order to invest and say yes to you. They don't understand that these are the unconscious thoughts your people are having that are going to make them to say yes or no, whether they realize it consciously or not. And this is going to sound very personal development-y, but the first one's actually going to be belief in themselves. And I know that sounds like, of course, they need to have belief in themselves to be able to believe it. But you don't realize that when you're talking about, for example, a very big desire, like losing a lot of weight or money, or even like helping them build their career or business, even something as small too as I've had a client of mine who did dog agility training. Those things, even though you might not realize it, naturally have their brain think that that is too good to be true. That the thing they've spent so much time trying to get to, somehow that they've missed something, because they believe now, after maybe trying and failing a few times on their own, they're like, well, can I really even do this? Can I actually get to that desire, to those pounds, to that money, to that more efficient dog? And it's because when you think about it as humans, one of our really great characteristics is that we are really resilient, but also that our brains naturally have a negativity bias. Or they're meant to be as a way to protect us. They've been there for however many years. That's tucked away. It's there to be that voice in the back of your head that says, don't go there, don't go down that alley. But also, don't try and do that course again. You're just going to fail. Don't try and do that other service. You've already tried before. Why try again? That part that you've heard a lot around mindset work and so forth, that is creating and shaping the belief that if they don't believe in themselves when it comes to that I can actually do this, that I can actually use this, and this can be the final time for me. If they don't believe in themselves, no amount of copy is going to be able to build that. The thing is, people don't realize this. When you say, like, you don't believe in yourself, maybe a part of them understands, but because we don't speak in those terms naturally, where we're like, you know what I feel today? I don't feel like I believe in myself. So it's not a thing that we do. So instead, if we actually understand how it manifests and how it shows up in our 3D life, those situations and explaining those can do a lot more good than just saying, like, you don't believe in yourself. In reality, how it shows up when it comes to not believing in themselves, it's going to come in through they doubt, they're on 1,000, not 1,000, but like a dozen other people's or competitors' email lists where they've seen all of their emails but just hasn't decided to buy. Or maybe there's someone who is constantly like freebie writers, or they're just trying to get all the information because they're more worried about the idea of having to pay another thing and it not working for them. So you can use those, again, external realities, those external situations to call them out and then lead into that part around believing in themselves. But if you don't understand that first part, the first belief, and see if people actually do have that issue, it's not going to be able to help to create more copy around like how amazing your program is, because if they don't have that inherent belief in themselves, again, it could be a temporary thing. The greatest thing about beliefs and mindset is they can take a moment to have it all change, to have your brain actually start to look for the positive. But if there's someone who's been in that cycle for months or weeks, it might be important for you to realize. It might take them a second to get out of, especially if they're not already a student of yours. But also that you can begin to pepper in those reminders they need, the way to help them break through those beliefs, because it's important to realize, especially if you're working with a transformational type of product like coaching, even coaching memberships, courses, even books and podcasts too. Those things are transformational. They're inherently very emotional states that take people time to actually feel ready for. So if you can understand that belief in themselves is like the first place you need to address, and your copy and how you're actually positioning things in emails, it is so important for you to understand that, so that you're not just letting yourself only go on to the beliefs that are easy for you to talk about versus the ones they actually need you to speak about. And I do this all with my clients when we're helping to strategize actual sales email sequence, or even on their sales page, what needs to be said and articulated to help to solve that for them and to help them have that less anxiety around it. But I want you to just keep this in your awareness when you're thinking about what am I noticing people ask me the most about, and what's the actual core belief of that. If you can begin to get super aware of even their own patterns versus just your own, you will be able to understand which of these 3 beliefs need to be focused on the most. Second thing is going to be around belief in you. And I know that sounds unfortunate, because you're like, why would they need to believe in me? They've been on my list for forever. Maybe I know I'm great. I know I'm good at what you do, which you are. But the issue is that even though you're good at what you do, they haven't experienced enough from you to be able to believe that. Again, especially if they come in from a space where they've already invested in things before, they're going to naturally have a little bit more of that hesitancy that they need you to understand, like, takes some time to learn and how to really help them to get out of. So actually, I had a client of mine who talked about this when it comes to like belief in themselves, where again, they know they're good at what they do, but because they're good at what they did and done this for so long, they almost get resentful trying to explain like how good this program is, because they're like, of course it's amazing, I'm amazing, like how do they not get that by now? It's because when we have done so much time in investing in like better copy, investing in better funnels and better marketing, we're like, why isn't it working immediately? But when you realize a key concept, that sales can be consistent but not linear, and because humans aren't always linear, but they can be consistent in their patterns, that helps you to understand that there's always going to be things to evolve. And maybe you did more of your content recently without even noticing it, talking about belief in themselves, or the third one, but you need to do more of the belief in you. And the belief in you is not going to be like how great you are. It's actually going to be more focused on the journey that got you to where you're at and your clients speaking for you, the testimonials. I speak about this in another video where I actually give you how to be able to actually optimize your testimonials to convert more for you. But I want you to realize that this part is so important, because they don't believe in you, they're going to go to someone else. Because if they already believe in themselves and they already believe like, okay, I think I actually can do this, like lose 15 pounds, or I also believe that this program can be good, but I'm still iffy on like the values the person has, if they actually line up with the lifestyle that I want. When you're able to address those through stories, that will help you to solve that number 2 there. And I talk about this a lot with my clients. We actually workshop like a story bank almost to pull from for this, because when you don't realize the types of things you need to be speaking about to help solve this, it can make you to feel almost frozen, where you're just wondering what to say, what to do, how to help your people understand this part that's, again, so clear as day for you, but they need your support and your help to actually get them there. And if you really see this process of marketing, of selling, as a beautiful transformation experience you get to give your people, again, you get to give your people to make that empowered decision of yes or no. When you see it as a gift of service for them, that you're helping them to find the right place for them. And if it's your program, amazing. If it's not, that's fine too. But when you come with that space of service, it allows for this part to not feel as resentful or as like frustrating, because you're like, you know what? I'm committed to them. I'm committed to myself. I'm committed to the vision that I have. So I'm willing to do this work. That might feel a little bit stretchy for the moment because you're just not used to thinking about or talking about marketing in this way. But your commitment to yourself, to them, the experience you want them to have, the mission you want to have your business be, that'll help you to pull over these parts that feel a little bit more stretchy for you. The last part is going to be belief around transformation of your program, or just like your program in general. You might hear this often where people are saying, oh, well, I want to be able to have people understand the value of my program. Great. The issue with that is people think that the value is through more deliverables, like through more PDFs, more bonuses, whatever it is. I did a whole video on this earlier actually about like how to not include more, but actually increase the perceived value of your entire course by just shifting the copy of one section. So if you want that, I'll put that down below as well. But I want you to understand that it's not always about just like showcasing how cool of a program you have or like how many students you have in it. It's really about them, again, feeling that believability in your program to get them the results that they want. Because again, there's someone who's tried this multiple times before, they're naturally going to be like, I've heard this promise over and over. I've heard the 10K in 10 days. I've heard the 10 pounds and whatever. Because if they are a more advanced client, they're not going to be someone who's able to just like say yes easily if they're not already having those 3 beliefs, the belief in themselves, you, and the program. So this third part is really going to be focused more on helping them to understand this is believable for the timeline or the promise that you have. It is getting down to more of that like movie scene level of copy I talk about in I feel like every video because it's so important, because that level of specificity where they can visualize it in their mind's eye and see it happen for themselves before they even invest with you, that creates and helps that belief more than anything else. More than more PDFs, more than more case studies or testimonials, you are now creating a different way of interaction with them, with your program and what it talks about. And there's such a huge shift that can happen with that too. So I feel like I can talk about this forever, but I want to just give you this quick recap on like, if you're not seeing a lot of sales right now or wondering why your leads aren't buying, beyond just the technical parts, I really want you to understand that actually the technical pieces, the data, can help them to understand which of these beliefs they don't fully believe right now. The belief in themselves, the belief in you, the belief in the program. So you can actually see this happen inside of Hotjar, which is kind of like the way that you're able to see certain pages be recorded. Like you can start to see how people are reacting to your page. It's really cool, free resource. I'll put it down below. But I want you to realize when it comes to this area of the belief, you can tangify it. It can actually be a way that you can begin to really serve your people more without having them do an entire thing. Because again, if they don't have these 3 beliefs, it's not going to matter what you put out there. It's not going to matter what you say, because beliefs are something that they believe so gutturally and so entirely that it needs to be reframed. It needs to be helping to be broken through and shifted from. So if you're not doing that, you're only just giving them more value or more like why this is amazing. Not actually helping them to do the part that you need to kind of show up as the guide, as the expert, as the person that can help them. Because at the end of the day, no matter what profession you're in, this type of work means that you need to step into that mentor role for the moment of your marketing and help them to see how to get them to feel that yes, how to get them to see that ease. Because actually once you address this and you actually become the mentor or just the expert for the moment, they become then those ride or die people, because you took the time to invest in what they needed to see, hear, and feel in order to say yes. So if you want more support on this, let me know below. I know it's kind of an intangible type of video, but so important, because this belief, it's not going to matter as many strategies as we do, as many tactics as we try, because this is how the person's believing. So we need to help address that first, that they can begin to believe this is true for them, that this can happen, and that you're the person for them to do this now. So if you want to dive in deeper to this, feel free to go down below and we can chat about it further. But I just want you to start to think about, where have you noticed a lot of questions being asked, or even people not clicking on certain things, and that'll begin to help you understand maybe what they're not saying, but what they're believing and what they need your help to believe something different about soon. So with that, I'll talk to you in the next video.